Just want to thank you all for being here today for another episode of New Day Live. And for those who don't know me, my name is Melchie Johnson. I'm the host, I'm the founder of Melchie, the brand, and I have included in the chat today, and it'll also be in the recording description, melchie.com, where you can find out more about who we are and what we do. But today I am so honored to welcome our special guest. I became a fan of hers the very first time that I heard her preach at my church, and she is just a fiery, as I will call her, modern disciple, as I've also called her, and we'll get into that a little later as well. But please help me welcome today Dr. Telika McCoy. And Dr. McCoy, I am so thrilled to have you on today. And I'd like for our guests to further introduce themselves. So I'll turn it over to you to tell us a little bit more about you. So take it away.
Well, first, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to serve in this sacred space. I really respect and honor what you're doing. And I am just so blessed. As you said, this is another day that the Lord has made, and just grateful that this was on God's itinerary for my life. So thank you so much again for having me. I just do a lot of things that I
Mm-hmm.
feel, are in alignment with the work of Jesus Christ. I feel that those who are believers in Jesus Christ are called to continue Jesus's work. And so when I read my Bible, I study the things that Jesus did. I am trying my best to, as Jesus' earthly ministry reflected love and compassion, giving, peace, joy, all of those types of attributes of Jesus. I'm trying to extend that for as long as I am going to be here. So I
Yes.
do that through teaching at the university, I do that through teaching in the church, in community. I also serve with the Louisville Institute, just helping church leaders to connect projects that will enhance the ministry that God has called them to. I have the opportunity to adjudicate, when thinking of proposals that people submit to certain places, so that they might receive funding to extend the work of Jesus Christ. And so I am just trying my best to do what I believe God has called me to do. And my life is just a series of yeses. If God said it, it's a yes, I do it, and then I move on to the next thing. So
Uh,
I'm so passionate about just continuing the ministry work of Jesus Christ.
I love that. Your best yes. And if God leads you to it, you say yes, you keep going and you keep moving forward. I love that. Thank you so much for that. And my first question, actually, just an extension of what you just said. So obviously, your central purpose of ministry is Jesus Christ. But what I want to know is, do you have sort of I would call it a sub focus, if you will, or theme that's central to your particular ministry? For example, I know that you are a youth advocate. Other ministries might target women. What would you say is kind of your sort of sub level of your Dr. Talika McCoy Ministries is?
That's a good question. Thank you. I believe that the overarching theme is indeed growing faith and bringing people into the knowledge of Jesus Christ so that they may make the choice,
Yeah.
to have a relationship with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I believe along with that that a lot of people are in the need of healing. They're in
Yeah.
need of healing. And in order for them to understand the power of Jesus, I must first understand their humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not what's getting in the way of people having a relationship with God is not necessarily, I just don't want to. It's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, I'm just rebelling or you don't tell me what to do. Many times people are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think of growing faith as the overarching theme of my ministry, it has to be based in an idea of hurting. People are
Mm-hmm.
hurt first.
Yeah.
Now, people don't always know that they're hurting from something that they need to be healed from,
Mm-hmm.
but it's my duty to pay enough attention to folks to see where they are. And many
Mhm.
times I discover that there's hurt, and behind hurt is frustration. Behind hurt is fear. Behind hurt is anxiety and disappointment. And so
Right.
that means that people sometimes present as angry when really that's not the real emotion at all. And so
Mhm.
sometimes our emotions get in the way of our ability to really have a relationship with our creator. You,
Mhm.
we are frustrated because of, a church building or a church leader. We are sad because we don't feel that we're as connected as we could be because we went through a pandemic. We don't know
Yeah.
how to do that. We are disappointed in a person and we allow that person to take precedence over a relationship with the creator. So I believe in healing hearts.
Yes.
That's really what my ministry is about. Where is the healing opportunity in this? And some people would say, well, Dr. McCoy, not everybody's just walking around sad and hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's you. I'm just saying that if you're an adult, if you had enough birthdays,
Yes.
somebody or some event or some situation has done something to you that can stunt your growth towards a healthy life. That's all I'm saying. So when I'm doing Bible studies and things like that, I am first thinking about the human side of a person. How are
Mhm.
they going to hear this? Maybe I'm called to teach it or preach it, but how are you going to hear it? So
That
that's my job, is to cultivate a healing ministry.
that is awesome. I love that you consider the person, like you're talking about, what history does this person that you're ministering to bring with them to this teaching or preaching opportunity. And then you kind of zoom in on that, if you will, and take into consideration somebody's frustration and anger, and really drill down into what a person is going through. So I appreciate that about you and about your ministry. And when I join your Bible studies every week on Thursdays, and we'll tell people how they can join that, I really do sense that you are, coming for our hearts, that you are speaking to our hearts and to our minds, while at the same time, of course, keeping Jesus central. Because he is the healer, and that's who we want to keep as our main focus. So I appreciate that. I really like that viewpoint there. Um, there is another aspect of you which I also kind of admire, and that is your celebration of Black culture and Black history, Black people, Afrocentrism. Why is that important to you personally and to your ministry?
Oh, thank you for that question. So I can tell you that as a little girl, I did not like myself. As a teenager, I did not like myself. As an adult, young adult, I did not like myself. And
Yeah.
it was really based more in not the kind of person I was, but the kind of person I saw in the mirror. The kind
Mm-hmm.
of person I saw in the mirror had dark skin. The kind of person I saw in the mirror had, you know, the only thing white about her, because she had been taught, that white is right. The only thing
Yep.
white about her were her teeth.
Yep.
There was this dark skin, as this canvas. And then there was this white, this big white teeth and this big wide mouth. There was this kinky hair, and so I just didn't like that look at all. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried to change it. I bought lightening creams, I, altered my hair because I thought that if it wasn't straight, then it wasn't right.
Right.
So I did all of these things to change my image because I'm only talking about me. I'm not talking about anyone else, but I
Mm-hmm.
did those things because I did not like myself. Now, other people make those choices because that's just what they want to do. And I
Right.
applaud those people. I made those choices because I did not like who I saw in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there came a time when I started reading not just the books that formal education suggested and or made me read. I
Mm-hmm.
started reading books that were written by people like Frederick Douglass, the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. I started reading books by Dr. Naeem Akbar, who talks about, he takes an examination of psychological slavery. He talks about breaking the chains of psychological slavery. I read books by Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro.
Right.
Once I started reading Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, I did not have access to these types of books when K through 12. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's not to blame anyone. I'm just giving my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started to take a book in hand that I actually chose, that started talking about me from people who did not look at themselves and hated themselves, then I started to say, maybe I'll not hate myself either.
Yeah.
So I started to read, and then I went to a HBCU. And when I got there, they did not just teach me what was in a book, but they taught me how to love myself and the value of my Black body in community.
Mm-hmm.
And the more those things happen, I started to think, oh, wait a minute. God created everything and it was good.
And it
And
was good.
I read
Yes.
that in scripture. I read that in scripture, but I grew up hearing people say that, they use this term nappy, like nappy
Mm-hmm.
head. And when they
Mm-hmm.
used it, it had negative connotations attached to it.
Yep.
So and they would always say if they saw like a Black person with curly hair, naturally curly hair, they would describe them as the person with the good hair. Like they,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Tyrone, that boy with the good
With
hair.
the good hair.
And so I thought to myself one day, I read these books, I go to the HBCU, I go back to Genesis, and the Bible says God created everything and it was good. So then I had to reteach myself that somebody got it wrong. When
Mm-hmm.
they were saying Tyrone had good hair, they should have also been saying that I had good hair. Why?
Yes.
Because God created everything and it was good. So when I realized I had good hair, I stopped changing it.
Uh-huh.
When I realized, wait a minute, it's everything. I realized I had good skin. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
trying to change it. When I realized that I had, no matter how wide my mouth is, it's a good mouth. When
Yeah.
I started to say and accept, God created everything and it was good. So now
Mm.
the reason why you see so much of that in my ministry is because I like Black people. I
Yeah.
like me as a Black person. You know, I realize that to be pro Black is not to be anti white.
Exactly.
And I realize that it's okay for all of us to be what we are because God created everything and it was good. So now I embrace my culture. The more I learn, the more I'm like, wow, I'm pretty awesome. you know.
Yes.
So now I don't have to hate myself and I should not hate myself because I should try more and more to see myself through the eyes of my creator. And it's very disrespectful to negate any culture because you don't understand it, you don't like it, or you're not embracing it.
Mm.
So that's disrespectful to God. So I'm going to embrace all of it because I love all people, but thank God now I'm included in that.
Oh my gosh, you have spoken a word right there. I just love it. It's just so empowering to see how you are embracing your blackness. And to those of you who've not seen or heard Dr. McCoy in person or watched some of her Bible teachings through the week, you will see in the clothing, in the books behind her, in the jewelry, her expressions of who she truly is. And yes, it is beautiful. Yes, we are beautiful as Black people, as people. And so again, I greatly admire just your embracing of that and that as an example to the rest of us. That yes, we are made by God and we are good because He called, like you said, and like the word says, everything good. So thank
That's
you for
it.
that
And
encouragement on today.
it's very important. And
Yeah.
I don't wake up in the morning and not do something or see something that reminds me that the way God made me is good. Even now, my Apple Watch band, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
I see that.
It's kente because now I understand that, in the African tradition, these colors mean something,
Mm-hmm.
whenever we wear something or we do something, we're making a political statement by
Yes.
the way we wear our hair, by the things that we share on social media, by the ways in which we communicate. We are making political statements all the time. The only
Mm-hmm.
time we think about politics, some of us, is when it's time for Democrats and Republicans. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you are a canvas, and I used that word earlier. You're a canvas. What are you choosing to display? So I
Yeah.
choose to remind myself every day, hey, Mother Africa,
Yeah.
I remind myself every day that even when I read my word, when you see the Nile River and you see all of these other terms, hey, it all began in Africa.
Right.
That I did not know that as a little girl, bless my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
It's not up to anyone to teach us those things. When we think about who has control over media and things like that, don't get upset with those people or those people. Take responsibility for the enlightenment of your own mind. Break your own psychological chains.
Wow, we can close right there, and I would just be glad to have heard that word. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And sort of related to that, and this is how I got to. There was a post of you on Instagram one time, and I believe you had been at a speaking engagement or something, and you were walking out from the building or the church, and you just had this step about you. You had on your, your colors and your wear, and to me, what came to mind was, wow, she's just awesome. And I, termed you as modern disciple, and I put that in the comments on that post, and you seem to receive that, and I appreciated that. But what was your reaction when I said that? And then let's do move on to a little conversation about discipleship and what that is and why it matters today.
Yes, that's a good question. I received it because for me, I mean, that's what every Christian should be. I mean, it's
Yeah.
2024. You should be a modern disciple.
Hmm.
I don't know if there are people who get offended by the word modern being before disciple, but for me, the way you did that, for me,
Yeah.
when I think about modern, I mean, the Lord has commanded us to go make disciples, and that's what we're supposed to do. Well, we're in 2024, so it
Hmm.
behooves us to do it in a modern way, which for
Yeah.
me means updated. So
Yeah.
what we're doing now is modern in the sense where we're using technology to the glory of God.
Hmm.
So I embrace that because I believe that in my ministry, I should be looking for innovative ways to tell people about the invitation to discipleship, to be a disciple. And to be a disciple simply means to follow.
Yeah.
Follow. So you can be a disciple of many things, but disciple means to follow. And so when you make the decision to follow Jesus, you're simply opening that Bible and trying to figure this thing out, day
Yeah.
by day of how to do that effectively, how
Hmm.
to do it to the point where God will give you a well done. So
Hmm.
there are modern ways to do it. And when we think about modernity, it includes things like technology. It includes things like going out and actually being seen. It includes looking to see how non-saved people are doing some things and you getting excited to update.
That's right.
That's what it includes. I mean, because every day people are making videos and having interviews and all these things about the fellowship or discipleship, if you will, of other things.
Yeah.
So modernity for me suggests that we need to stay up on the times and we need to do what we need to do in order to follow the mandate that Jesus has already given disciples to go and make disciples,
Hmm.
baptizing them. Many of us know what it is, but Jesus did not give us the how. He just gave us the command.
Hmm.
So I love that you said that modern. So how do we do that in 2024?
Hmm. Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that. And just to kind of piggyback on that, and you know, you were talking about the use of technology and the ways today that we can spread the message of the gospel of Jesus. You recently became a scholarship awarder. That is, you founded a scholarship in your name and presented two young ladies who recently graduated from high school with this new scholarship. Talk to us about that and kind of how you were led to that. You are also an author of a few books. Um, we already mentioned that you teach a weekly Bible study that is seen on Facebook and on YouTube. So talk to us about how you have been led to all of these different ways of, you know, some are technology and others aren't, but kind of as a package, if you will, of all of your different ways of being a modern disciple. And I'm excited to hear about the scholarship first.
Okay. Okay. Well, the scholarship first. Well, you mentioned where you saw that short clip of me walking out of that building and
Hmm.
I guess, you would see this person, she's got her head up now, she's walking with confidence now. Well, the scholarship. I can tell you that not only did I have self-image issues, but I also had issues attached to low scorings on standardized tests whenever I was attempting to enroll into college. And so I was not the top of the list, at the top of the list when it came to grade point average. And
Hmm.
I certainly did not do well with standardized testing. And so the person that you saw in that video with her head up, no, again, self-image issues. And because of standardized testing, I thought of myself as really dumb. I'm just going to use that word. I said that to myself. So I'm
Wow.
dealing with this self-image thing, and now I'm stupid, in my mind, now I'm stupid. So what do stupid people do? Because I don't know any. What do dumb people do? Because I don't know any.
Yeah.
I know are smart. These others, I'm 18, they went off to real college and I'm just like at home. So I'm like, what do I do? And so anyway, I found my way through, to the point where I was blessed to earn a PhD. So
Yeah.
I say that standardized testing does not necessarily, gather what a person can learn or what they have learned. Just want to put that
Hmm.
out there. I have an entire presentation about that. But I thought about the person that I thought was stupid with low self image. And I said, I'm sure that there are still some of me back at my old high school. I said,
Hmm.
I would imagine there are some students over there who feel like that.
Hmm.
So I thought to myself, I have supported these other initiatives for scholarships. I've given money. I said, something's not completely right here. I said,
Hmm.
I can still support those initiatives, but I could go back to my own high school, the very place where I felt like a dumb person.
Yeah.
You know what? I can save enough money to give something to some student over there. And so that's what I did. And so I saved and I actually gave two $1,000 scholarships. So two
That's
young
wonderful.
$1,000. But it wasn't until I got there that I really felt. I sat there in that gym and it all came back to me. Like I'm
Hmm.
telling you this story, but I don't live a lot in my past. I move forward, but I don't live a lot in my past. So it wasn't until I sat there and I saw my name there that I was giving this money to these students. And I thought, wait a minute, come full circle.
Mm.
But I'm the stupid girl. I'm the ugly girl. Wait a minute.
Hmm.
And I sat there and I had to control myself because I almost started to weep
Mm.
because I could see myself standing in that same gym. I could see myself playing volleyball in that same gym.
Mm.
So I don't think I really realized they were going to give me the time that they gave me to speak.
Yeah. Yes.
But they allowed every award, every contributor to speak. And
Mm.
in that moment, I was able to stand up in my former high school and to say to these young people, not just to the ones who are at the top of the class, because I wasn't that person, right?
Hmm.
So there were
Hmm.
all these other students. And I was able to say to them, your name may not be called today because
Yes.
mine wasn't. But what you do is you leave here and you go make a name for yourself.
Yes.
I said, and you come back and you give some money and you stand up and you show people, what is possible.
Yes.
So that's how that scholarship came about, is that I really just wanted to give, but I wasn't thinking about all of the other things that you're giving me an opportunity to share now. There are grand stories that each of us have that we don't always get to tell.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate this. But that was the birth of that is, I'm going to go back and I'm going to continue to give. And I want to be sure to give to the kids whose names are not usually called because
Yes.
really that's who I am. Right? So I want to keep saving so that I can give to that kid who is going to, go get a trade. They're going to go
Yeah.
to the community college like I did.
Right.
I want to give to the kid who, when I was 18, I was blessed to get a job at the bank, but I didn't have banker's clothes. So I went to Goodwill. I want to give to that kid who's going
Hmm.
to enter the workforce but doesn't have the money. But
Yeah.
I made it because I was able to go to Goodwill.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this scholarship because I really want to extend it beyond, so that it can reach the me,
Hmm. Hmm.
so many years ago. So that's how that came about.
Awesome. And I did see you did post the clip of the scholarship presentation on Instagram, and I think I shared that on my story or in our SWAF community that I was talking about earlier. And it's so powerful the way just in those few minutes you were able to, again, like you just said, my name may not have been called, back then, but look at where God has led me today. And here you are now able to give back to the place where you once thought, gosh, I'm a nobody, I'm a nothing, I'm ugly, I'm sitting here next to so and so, not, as good as they are. So
Right.
just
It
what
really
an
hurt.
awesome testimony. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It hurt. I was one of those hurting people, in
Yeah.
that. And I was even on our homecoming court.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that I would say, "Oh, I'm one of the pretty girls,"
Yeah.
but it's, again, it's not about what other people say or think about you.
Yeah.
It's about what you say and think about yourself.
Mm.
And many times we say that in a positive light, right? We'll
Yeah.
say, it's not about what they say, it's not about what they call you, it's about what you answer to.
Yeah.
But regardless of what people were saying, even if it was nice,
Yeah.
that wasn't the self-talk that was
Yeah.
happening to me. So I was even on homecoming court, right?
Yeah.
But still. So that's why I keep talking about the ministry of hurting
Yeah.
people. Some of this stuff is embedded in us, and we carry it into our adulthood.
Yeah.
It's just important as a modern disciple to really see people. Jesus said to Andrew and to Peter, "Come," but he didn't
Yeah.
just say come. He looked at them, looked at what they were doing,
Yeah.
said, "Okay, they're fishermen. Come, I'll make you fishers of men."
Mm-hmm.
So it's about seeing who people are and what's going on in the inside and meeting them
Yes.
and taking them where God needs them to go.
Awesome. Awesome. We have a lot of engagement here in the chat. I don't know if you've been able to just keep up with that, but a lot of people are just kind of, agreeing and giving you some love here about some of the things you have shared today, and it's really resonating with those who are here. We were talking about Pat, who is the ED of the Monet Richardson Community Foundation, and I will say here we, because I'm a supporter of that organization, a former board member, and that is one part of their mission is to award scholarships to students as well. So important. That organization was legacy named after her late daughter, Christian Monet. And so it's just a wonderful way, a scholarship is a wonderful way to give back and really support, especially from, as Pat was saying, from a woman of color. So just awesome work that you are doing in the community. And this is what this talk show is all about, is it brings the faith side with the community side, and it all works together as we are led. So I really, again, just admire you, and I appreciate just your ministry and your work, your example, your light, your energy, and all of that. So we are going to keep moving along here and come to a close. I will give folks a chance to ask questions, but Before we get to that, let us know where we can find you online as far as social media, your books, your weekly Bible teaching, and where you might be preaching coming up soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I have a website and it's www.drtalikamccoy.org. And there you can actually connect to my Facebook channel or page and also to my YouTube channel.
And I will
So
put that in the chat right now.
yeah, yes, so that website pretty much takes you to everything. If you wanted to purchase any of my three books, you can see that there. I go in and I will put, for example, the update information. For example, the young ladies who were gifted the scholarships, that's there. And I
Yeah.
try to update also my preaching engagements there as well. I don't always update that as quickly as I should, but if you stay connected on the Facebook page, that's pretty much going to always be updated. So I try to put everything on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I have Twitter, and all of them are pretty much the Dr. Talika McCoy.
Okay.
So I try to do all of that. But Facebook and my website are usually the most updated, but I try to keep
Mhm.
all of it updated. But I really appreciate it. And on Thursdays is when the live stream happens for the Bible studies, and
Mhm.
that happens on Thursdays at 7 p.m. But then there are some people who don't do social media at all, so I want to respect those people as well. So I have a conference call line for the Bible study. And
Okay.
you're one of those persons who does not do social media like that and you just want to listen over the phone, you can call in anonymously and the number is 717 908 1636. And then there's an access code, and the access code is 977 613, and then you just press pound. So if you
Awesome.
want to be anonymous, I try not to ever call anybody out or anything like that. But if you want to be anonymous, then that line has actually been, I've been doing this Bible study with the conference call since 2011.
Wow. I didn't
Far as
realize
going
that.
live, yeah, as far as going live, not as long, but we've been studying for years, and so now we've reached. I decided right there at the pandemic to start going through the books of the Bible, so
Yes.
not just topics, and topics are fine, they're
Yeah.
great, they're awesome. Just for me, I wanted to go deeper
Yeah.
into scriptures word for word so that I can have a clear understanding of the eternal truth of God. And so topics are fine. And
Yeah.
sometimes people want topics. If you tell me you want me to do a Bible study on something, I'll do it
Yeah.
because it's our space. It's not just like my space. But there are
Mhm.
people who have questions about things. They'll say, Dr. McCoy, will you talk about, mental health? Dr. McCoy, will you talk
Yes.
about suicide? Dr.
Yes.
McCoy, will you talk about domestic abuse and violence?
Mhm.
Whatever it is that we need to study through the lens of the word of God, then you let me know, and that's what we'll do. Um,
Yes.
but then in the meantime, I go ahead and we're on a book. So now we're walking through the gospel according to Luke. So
Yes.
welcome to join anytime.
Yes, and I normally catch because I'm not on Facebook. Catch the premiere that comes on right after the Facebook Live on your YouTube channel,
Awesome.
or I listen to it, later. But it'll always be on YouTube as well.
Thank you so much. And I
Yeah.
always tell people, do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Again, going back to modern disciple. If
Hmm.
you're a servant of God, you have to think of various ways, because everybody's not the same. And
Right.
instead of, condemning people because they're not online or condemning people because they want to come on their phone, how dare you do that? That's so 1902. Instead of doing all of that,
Yeah.
listen to people, find out what works, and if it's really about Jesus, make it about spreading Jesus.